quizzes are one important part of the, we can say, tool in the Moodle, which allows us to check the students' performance by various ways. It could be used for, I mean, quiz is just a name. We can use this for any kind of test like midterm exam, a lab exam, any kind of, can say, descriptive exam, MCQ based exam, any type of exam test we can take by this mode. So let me straight share the screen and start the agenda. So first of all, how to start the quiz and how to make it, and then how to add questions. Let's start it first. I hope everyone can see my screen. All right. So I have used my old course to explain this course. So first of all, you have to log into your Moodle account and you will reach somewhere home. And this is how you look your courses. I think everyone already have attended the session on Moodle and introduction. So I just go straight to, I have selected an old course where I can explain the whole process. So I select this course. You have to open the course. Now your course have may have different types of formats. I have the topics format, so these are different topics. I will go to the exam section. And here, first of all, I have to go to the settings and turn editing on so that I can add a quiz. So for creating quiz, we have to turn the editing on and make sure that when you finish making your quiz, you should do this. You should come back here and say turn editing off. If you do not do it, many times what happens that Moodle do not save your work and students cannot see the quiz or any modification that you have. So first of all, we turn editing on, and when we are finished, we have to go and do turn editing off. So first of all, we have to add an activity or resource. We will see this long list of activities or resources that we can do. Here is the quiz somewhere in the center. Select it. We can see that what are the uses of the quizzes. These are explained in here. For which purposes these could be used. And we have to go down and press this bluish add button. Now here a quiz will be added. Now here you can see certain signs in this red color and steric mark, this mark. And what happens that these are the necessary things. You have to do this. So we have to name the quiz. I will name it as quiz, say 1. Now you can get you have a box where you can add any description of the quiz. You may add the syllabus or the topics for the quiz, or maybe any instructions. Now one more option you have just down there. You can see display description on course page. If you check this box, then this whole detail, this title and this whole detail will be displayed on the course page mainly. So student when open the page, they can see. If you just uncheck this one, uncheck this part, then they will see only the title quiz 1. When they open that link, the quiz 1, then they can see the description before. So I generally prefer to check it, but it's your choice. If you do not want to populate your main home page, then you simply uncheck it. Then timings, of course, we are talking about a quiz that is online. You can set up the timing for that. So when we open it and when we close it, this is very important thing. Because what happens that in online mode there are too many chances that students will collaborate with each other, they talk to each other and discuss about it. So it's better to give them a short time. This short time will actually I will say compel them to finish their work on the time and do not discuss with others and like that. So the best way is to I mean the more best way is this, that we can get a computer lab and ask them to sit over there and do their own work. But if this is not possible, uh, we can give them shortest possible time so that they cannot communicate with each other. So we can open the quiz, we enable it, we can close the quiz, enable it. So we say for example, if it is 11th of October, we make it 12 the day after. So quiz will open, I would say, at 10, and I would say it will close at 10:30. Now, this is also possible that during this time, if we want them to do work only for a few minutes, I mean, they can open the quiz during this time, but they have a time limit within which they have to finish their work. So you can make it like 15 minutes or like that. So there'll be a timer which will be displayed in front of them that how many minutes are remaining. So this is also possible if we want to. So we can make it a timed quiz as. If we simply disable it, they can finish all the work within this time. Now, one more important option is this, that what will happen when time expires. One thing is this, that open attempts are submitted automatically. Anything where they have answered a question, that will be automatically submitted. But you can also do in this way that there is a grace period where open attempts could be submitted, but no more questions could be answered. So they have time like 1 to 3 minutes to submit their attempt, but they cannot attempt any more questions. I cannot answer the questions. But there is a third, I'll say, more strict option that attempts have to be submitted before time expires. So they have to finish that before time and submit it, or they are not counted. So we can select any option. I prefer personally open attempts are submitted automatically, because here students cannot make those excuses that we are just left with one question, couldn't get time to submit it and like that. Any questions they have answered will be automatically submitted, and we can get this. So if we select this grace period option, then we can give this grace period. Like for example, we say there is a 1 minute grace period where they cannot answer the question, but they have time to submit them. So this is possible. So it's about everyone's choice how they want to do it. Then this grade option. I think how to grade in Moodle is actually covered in a separate session. I'll not go into the detail of that, but I'll simply say that if you do not have any grading category assigned, I mean, you didn't make your grade, or you didn't, I'll say, set up your grade book, then you will simply see here uncategorized. If you have made any category, then here you can see I didn't make any category yet. I have removed everything, so that if I make a category, then I can add category here. So I'll do that later. For now, I'm going ahead. One more important thing is this. You can see this question mark here. Anything, if you want to learn about this particular content, you can simply mouse over on this one. You can see which kind of help is this. This question mark is precisely the help. If you click this, a little box will appear, a pop-up will appear, which will tell you about this particular. What is this actually? Explaining in simplest possible. So then attempts allowed. How many attempts we are allowing? Unlimited. They can attempt it within the time. They can attempt it again and again, or maybe one attempt only, 2 attempts, 3 or 4. If we allow them 1 attempt, simply its marks will be used as grade. These will be added to the grade book. Or if we want, for example, sometimes we want to allow them more attempts with some penalties, then this is also possible. So we allow them, for example, 2 attempts. How we select the highest grade? I mean, if they are attempting 2, in one they get 9 marks, you know that they get 8. So the 9 one will be selected. Or maybe you say average grade. If they get 9 and 1 and 8 and 2, they'll get it 8.5. Or you can select the first attempt or select the last. So because purpose of the quiz is precisely learning. Sometimes you say that okay, that first attempt marks will be considered, but they can try it again for learning more. I mean, correcting themselves maybe. So it's a choice according to the course. You can select whatever method you want. Then this layout thing is a new page. Like one question will appear on this whole page. So do you want a new question on every new page, or do you want to show 3 or 4 or 2 questions on individual page, and then they can go to the new page? It's your choice. You can select whatever you like. Then one more method is this, the navigation method. This means precisely that the two modes available: navigation with free or sequential. Sequential means that they will get answer questions in a sequence and they will have to answer. They cannot go back. But in pre-navigation, they'll see a panel almost on the right side, and they can, for example, from 1 they can jump to question 5 and jump back. So we can allow free navigation or we can make it sequential. It's our choice. So this comes in layout. Then this question behavior. This is really important. What happened that number 1 shuffle within the question. So questions will be shuffled. Questions will appear for different students. They will see different questions at the same time. For question number 1 of course student 1 will not be the same as student 2. So this is a good way of doing it. If you do not want to do it, simply say no. How questions behave. Now there are various ways of doing it. The best way is amongst them is the deferred feedback. Deferred feedback means that they will not know the answer or a hint or something before the quiz is closed. So I generally prefer it, but you can also do in various ways like adaptive mode. They answer something and they can answer it again if it is not correct with penalties or without penalties. It's possible. Then this is also possible. They get immediate feedback. For example, they answer a quiz, answer a question, MCQ, for example. They get a feedback that hooray, it is correct. So this is also a way to, like for example, we have a smart classroom. We want to try some kind of in-class quiz or something. We can try this one. Of course, students get motivated by things like that. Oh, their answers correct. So we can try this immediate feedback mode. But for quizzes which are like part of a grade or something, preferably a deferred feedback will be a good idea. Then this is also actually important. Review options, how students can review the quiz, how they can see it. During the attempt, of course, they cannot see any feedback or answers. But immediately after the attempt, when they have finished the attempt, but still, what will they do? Because sometimes they can finish earlier or so. So what will happen? What they can see? I preferably uncheck this. They can see only the marks, total marks. They cannot see the answers. Then later, when the quiz is still open, I'll again do this, that they can see only the marks and not the feedback. I mean, they do not know that which answer is correct, which is not. Like that, they see total marks. And then after the quiz is closed, they can see everything, like whether it is correct or not, marks are there, any kind of feedbacks, the right answer, and everything. So this is a good option. See, if someone finishes soon, they cannot tell others the right answer. Like that. So these are the main important things. Now there are more things you can try these on, but these are the main important things. Now we can save and display. Now we'll see it, our students will see it like this. So the quiz, description, how many attempts are allowed, when it will be available, and when it will close. But you can see there are no questions yet. So to add questions, we have to go to the down there, this edit quiz button. Go to edit quiz. And where here we have, so you can see maximum grade, how many marks you are assigning to this. I'll say 10. Do you want to shuffle between the questions? I'll check it. If I do not check, all the students will get see the questions in the same sequence. But if I shuffle, then questions will be shuffled. Now, how to add a question? You can see this just below the shuffle, there is an add button. Like this. And we can see add a new question. We can add from a question bank. If a question bank is already set up, we can add questions from question bank. Or we can add a random question. Now, what does random question mean? Random question means that you have a question bank, right? And you have many questions over there. If you add a random question, what will happen that if you select, for example, you have added question in question bank, you have categories. You have added a category of quiz 1, for example. This option, if we select it, it will select randomly from all of those questions, any one question for each student. And another student will get another question from the same set. So this is also a good option. But sometimes what happens that students may complain that someone is getting more easier question, I am getting more tougher questions that you have to later on deal with that way. So I start with this, a new question. Now we can see there is a long list of options here. Multiple choice, true, false, we can add, matching pairs, short answers, numerical, if mathematics and stats people, essay type question, a descriptive one, calculated, multi-choice, and many more options. Just drag and drop onto the text. For example, if we want them to make a flow chart out of scattered pieces and like that, drag and drop markers at particular place, drag and drop onto an image. We have an image set, for example, particularly in biology, we have images, and if we want to join them together into a kind of a sequential thing, that we can also. So there are many options you can try those on. But I'll for select a few important ones which we commonly use. And first one is multiple choice. It's the most common question type. So I add it. Press this add button. Sorry, I think internet is a little slow, so it's taking some time. Yeah, so we have it. So here we have to name the question. We can give a topic or category. For example, I will say topic is animal diversity. Here we can type in our question text. Like I would say A, B, C, D. I do not waste time in writing down a question or something. But you have formatting option. You can make something bold, italic. You can go to bullet points and numbers. You can also add a link or something. You can also add a picture, a video, YouTube or something, link. Or I think these record video or record audio options need some web RTC to be activated, and I don't think so. We do have it. But if someone's browsers allow it, they can use these options. So I'll say this here. I can write down my question. Here I decide the default marks. How many marks I assign to this question. If it is a descriptive question, we can change the marks. But for MCQ, we can decide 1, 2, whatever. We can, if we want to give any general feedback to the students. Now, one or multiple answers. Do we have one answer to our question or multiple answers? If we allow multiple answers, of course, we have to divide the marks as. Preferably, I use one answer. And then, do you want to shuffle the choices? Not only questions will be shuffled, but here, these A, B, C, D choices will also be shuffled. So it means that one student is saying choice A, which is a particular text. The other one, when they are seeing their choice 1, it is not the same one. They can see B in place of number 1. So these choices will also be shuffled. This is a good way of stopping the cheating and controlling this thing. Now here we have to do choices. For example, I say choice 1 is A, B. Now you have to choose at least one of them to be 100%. Or if you have multiple choices correct, you can also use other options like how many marks are given to this a particular choice which is correct or not. So I'll say A, B, this is 100%. Second is I'll say any second answer. Choice 3, we can add as many choices as we want. And at the end, if you want to add more, we can add more choices right here. We can also allow them sometimes multiple tries, but with a penalty or no penalty. So we can, for example, if their one answer is wrong, they can have with a penalty of this many marks will be deducted, and they get a hint and they can try it again. So someone if interested, they can try this option. Then we have to these save changes. And you can see that this is the question up here. We can preview this question by, you can see here a lens button. Press it, and we have a preview. And this how this question look like. This question will look like almost this. That's how we do. So we can select the option, and we can see. So this is how it looks to the student. Here, if we want to change the grade value of this question, like rather than 1, we want to assign it 2 marks, we can simply press this edit button. Here you can see a pencil. Press it, you can write a 2, press enter, and the marks will be changed. So it's your choice. Now I'll say add button again and add an essay type question. So I can give it any topic like, and here I have to write down a question text, any instructions. If I want to add I want to add a link or a picture, make it bold, something like that, we can do it. Default marks, for example, I say it's a text question, I say it's 5 marks, but this essay type question will have to be marked manually. Then how students will add their responses. Now there are two ways of doing it mainly, or maybe multiple ways. You can try multiple ways, give them select one of the two. So one is that they have an HTML editor and they simply select this, or maybe HTML editor with a file picker. I mean, they can type something into a file and add it here, or simply plain text. Uh, Now, next thing is important. So you require student to enter text. If you are allowing them to add some text and also add a file, but if you select this option that require the student to enter text, without entering the text, they cannot go ahead. They cannot submit the attempt. So text input is optional if we want to make sure. I mean, if we are sure that we need only the online text and no file, then we add this. Students cannot go ahead without adding the text, and we can select that how many lines will be there in the input box where they have to maybe give their input. We can go up to 40 lines as per current. Do we allow attachments? If we are selecting only this that they have to type in, then we do not allow attachments. If we want to allow attachments, we can say 1, 2, 3 or unlimited. Now, sometimes what happens that we want to check their work for plagiarism or something. And in that way, if we have too many images in the file, then it will take a long to upload to Turnitin or any other software you want to add it. So preferably, we are, or maybe one more thing, that if they have references, then or bibliography, then what happens that the reference file could be separated to actually check the actual content for plagiarism. So we can allow them more attachments so that, for example, they can put their graphs or uh, I'll say picture work or references into a separate file and main text into another file. So we can allow them more attachments. Or maybe if we simply have sections of any assignment, then they can also, for an answer, they can also do this. Now, two things. Attachments are optional. Can they work only with the online text, or maybe we want both? It depends. Attachments are optional, or we can select that they have to add one attachment, two, three, or now, how many accepted file types uh, are there? Which file type they can submit? Word, PowerPoint, Excel, or whatever. We can choose here from a long list. So we can choose that which kind of file they have to submit. Video file, a spreadsheet, a Word file, or whatever. If we want to allow them all file type, we say all file types. Maybe a PDF or whatever. You can choose a specific. Then they cannot add any other type. Now response template we can also make. We can also say that they add their work or answer in a particular format, that we can also give a template. This also give them an idea that how to answer this. Now at the end we choose save changes. At the end you can see this button, blue button. Now we can see the descriptive questions, but this has to be marked manually, and here we have an answer. Now one more option that we mentioned in the agenda is basically a short answer. If we have a short answer that has few words, like 1 word, 2 word, 3 word answer, then we can also select this, and that will be checked, of course, automatically. Auto check. We can add questions like this. Okay, so we make any question name, like for example, I will say I add a question of biology, central cavity. So we can say that the other names for a central cavity. Now we can give them options. Okay, so default marks will be 1, 2. It's your choice. Select. Uh, Now Here you can see just below this first box, general feedback, case sensitivity. Do you want their answer to be case sensitive? They say yes, case must match. So we say that if they are writing like, I'll say Porifera, must be capital. They are writing Pakistan, P must be capital. And we will say yes, case must match. But if this is not important for us, you can say case is unimportant. So if they are writing Porifera with a P capital or without a P capital, this will be considered correct. So we can choose according to our choice. Now, first answer, I will say that this will be sponge. See, this is a correct answer, and they will get 100% marks. Now we'll say the answer two. Yeah. Answer two is, I would say, now I can make it capital or not because I have this option here. You can see that case is unimportant, so I can give it in any way. Again, grade for this will be 100%. But you will see. Okay, so but you will see that there could be any other option in any other way, and preferably we give it in this way. As many answers as you we can add flags for 3 more answers like that. Now again, save changes. Now here, do not forget to press this save button on the top because we are here. It is telling us that this many marks we have selected for certain questions here, and we have to press the save button to save all these questions. Otherwise, these may be lost when you log out. So I've selected all these. I press the save button here on the right corner where my mouse is. All right, now we can also preview this question. So students will see it like this. Here they can type their answer and go and submit it. At the end, they will see a submit button. Here, submit and finish. So this was about editing quiz from in various ways. Now I go back to the quiz one because I have saved it already. Before going back, say save. Actually, Moodle have some good option that if you without pressing save, you go back, it will ask you that are you sure you want to leave this page? You have unsaved changes. When it says it, please check all the things that if you have saved everything, then go back. Go back. I didn't get a message because I have saved it. Now here you can see this quiz is not currently available, but sometimes we want to try it out before we give it to students. So we can go here on the settings, open this, and here we can see a preview button. So I can preview the whole of the quiz. Yet we have previewed the questions only. Here we can preview whole of the quiz. So we select this. Now you can see it's randomizing the question. Our first question was an MCQ, but now it is showing this one first. And because I have selected free navigation, I have a pen. I can directly jump onto question 3. Here's the descriptive question. It looks like this. Students can add file from here. Type their text in here. Both options are available. Then I can also jump to question, which is an MC. And select and go to the next page after. So this is how the whole quiz appears. You can, if you can see there is a problem or something with the question, it's always better to preview the question. That you have option right here to edit the question. Here in the left panel, you can see question number. Here you can see an edit question button. If you want to edit this question, you simply click this. You need not to go back to the whole of the quiz and do it. You will go back to the edit. Whenever any changes that you do, you can go to the save changes and so I go back to the quiz. So here it will be when a student will open it, when it is open, they will have an option to open it right. Okay, so now if I go to grades and I simply add one grade category. Here is the grader report. We can see, we can view anything which is available here. I can go to setup and I can add any one category. You can see some categories are already added. These are the quizzes and exams that I have taken at that time. But at that time, I was not using the grade book, but it automatically added certain categories at that. So I add a category. For example, I say quizzes. I can grade type will be value or scale out. I am not going into detail of this because there will be a separate session on grade. I simply go up and say maximum grade. Yeah, I'll simply go back and say save changes. So now I have one category there. And now I go back to my quiz. So here's the quiz. That's done. I say done. Here you can see that editing mode is yet on. I'll say done, editing on. Now all my changes in the quiz are actually saved. So I open it again from exams and quizzes section. I can see here quiz 1. I can open it. Now I want to add it to a category, assign a grading category to it. I can also open the settings, go to the edit settings. This edit settings is actually going to change the settings of the quiz, like its time, its options, its review and everything. The other option is edit quiz. In edit quiz, we are changing only the questions, editing the questions. But here edit settings, we are actually changing the settings of it. Like for example, its time, its I would say accessibility and things. So I go to edit settings. Now the last thing is this, that the grade. I simply come down, general setting, name and everything is already set. I go to the grade. Now it is uncategorized. Now I open it. Now because I have created a category, I can see category. If you have created 5, 6, 7 categories, all categories will appear here and you can add it wherever you want. So I have added to quizzes. Now you can see grade categories quizzes. I save it and this. So this is how we can add them. This was all about how to make quizzes, how to add questions. So there are so many question types, but of course we have a limited time and we have to finish and we also have to take question answers. So I ended up here and over to Rohit. And if any question answers are there, we'll be happy to answer.
Thank you, Dr. Sabha. We'll quickly move towards the questions, and you're all requested to please type your questions in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and I will unmute you, and then you can ask the question yourself as well. We have a question from Dr. Etisham. Can we import the questions from previously made quiz on Moodle? Also, can we do it selectively for the questions?
Yes, we can do that. This is possible. What happened that we have to set up a question bank. This is not necessary that we specifically make it, because whenever we make a quiz, what happens that or any exam, then what happens that all those questions are saved in the category of that particular name of the exam. Because you see, I have selected the name of the quiz as quiz 1. If you have selected, if you have made a like a midterm exam, or if you have created any other kind of exam, all those exams will have their own particular category automatically assigned by the name that you have selected on. So you can go to the question bank. I can preferably share my screen and show that. You can go to the question bank and you can import those. For example, let's go to the added quiz. So in this one, there's no question bank. Let's go to another course where I have a question bank. So this. So let's go to quiz. Go to the edit quiz. In edit quiz, when we are adding any question, we can do it from a question bank. So go to question bank. Now here we can see all the previously made questions, like default for biology. So all questions, we say course name is there for 18. So all questions will appear here. But if I have categories like default for question quiz 2, I want to select questions only for quiz 2. So let's see what happens. Sorry, this internet is a little slow. So. We can select the questions from our list, or maybe we can select simply all of them and we can have them. Of course, we need to be selective. I think let's do it again. These boxes sometimes are really slow. Okay, so this is default. You say maybe you can change the category. I do not change the category, it's taking too much time. So I just simply from default, I have this question bank. I want to select this question, um, this question, this question, and at the end, I have this add selected questions to the quiz. Select this, and we have all those questions added right away. So it's our choice, but the other option is that you select a random question. That is also this. Is that answer to your question?
Dr. Tisham, you can respond in the chat. Moving on, we have another question from, we have a comment. We have a comment from Dr. Aisha Khan, very informative and well presented session. Moving on, we have Mohammad Ramzan. Are there any logic and are there any login and password credentials for Moodle portal to make quiz?
You have to simply log into your Moodle account. I mean, just as normal, and you can access any of your courses, and you can do all the quizzes or assignments and everything with the same login and password that you are assigned for the Moodle. When you log into your Moodle, you can modify everything within the Moodle, in your own course.
I will quickly launch the polling as well. Meanwhile, you're requested to please respond to that.
There is one more question. Say, is there any special font style for our question? There is a default font style, and mostly default style is followed. We can bold it or italicize it. We can bold, italicize it, and like.
Thank you for all the feedback for the session. Sadia Makbul says, thanks, that's quite helpful. Mr. Hana says, very informative session. Thanks, CLT. Dr. Mee says, thank you so much. Do we have any other questions? Ms. Sabha Iqbal, thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. It's nice to be with you this time.
We have around 31 participants and only 17 has responded as of now. You're all requested to please respond to the polling.
Yeah. Thank you, Sabha. It was, as always, a very well explained session. But we do feel that our participants do not do justice in the polling. Please respond to the polling. If you are satisfied or dissatisfied, we would like to know that. It helps us rethink our sessions. If you like to leave us some comments on how to do better, please do so in the chat. We'll be very thankful. Sabha? Thank you so much for your time. I know you have to run for a
Thank
class
you.
at 2 o'clock.
Yes.
And so very kind of you, to come over. Thank you.
Thank you
So
so
are we
much.
done with the polls? What are the 3 questions? Level of satisfaction, joy, learn anything, and is there something else? Is it, do you want this session to be conducted online or in person? Most have asked for an online. Actually, all 24 right now say they want it online. Thank you so much. Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Bye.